Folks, the desperate phone calls are coming in. I'll get into that and then the latest home prices and insights for condos across the GTA for week ending January 22nd, 2025. Calls are coming in and some are getting a little bit more desperate. These calls are coming in from other realtors. I'll tell you what I mean. We're with condo buyers. We're representing several condo buyers right now, and we go downtown, Mississauga, York region. We're all over the place showing condos. After the showing, either the next morning or sometimes the same evening, the realtors, the listing agents of these condos are texting, emailing, phoning, asking, how did our client like the showing? How did our client like the property? And that's great that they're doing that. They're doing their job. They're following up on their showings. They're doing the best they can to represent their seller. But some of them are, if they don't get you, they're calling back, calling back, calling back. Eventually, when we're on the phone talking, they're trying to gauge the kind of interest my buyer client has in their condo. And they're saying things to really incentivize us putting in an offer. Some will tell you that the seller is open-minded to look at offers. Some will say the price is negotiable or we can accommodate, any kind of closing. They really want to sell these units. And many of these units that are on the market now, many were listed last year, terminated at the end of the year or expired and now have relisted. So the sellers, the agent, everyone's feeling a little bit of pressure to sell these condos that are sitting there, and there's lots of them out there on the market. Now, some of these, my clients actually like the condo, and we've engaged some of these and put in an offer. And although the calls are coming in and they maybe sound a bit desperate, they're not so desperate yet as far as being able to put a deal together. Now, I'm not necessarily referring that my client, the buyer, is trying to get these way, way below market. But if we put in a fair offer and the offers are getting turned down, the sellers, many of these, the sellers or the agents, they're basing their price on what the seller needs. We're not able to really negotiate a fair price on some of these, even though they come across on the phone that they're really negotiable. Many still are really not. Now, it shouldn't matter what the seller needs. The seller may be doubling and tripling their money in tons of profit. That shouldn't matter. Or the seller could be losing thousands of dollars. Unfortunately, that would be a bad situation, but that shouldn't matter either. The only thing that should matter is, in this current market, what are units like that one for sale actually selling for? What does it make sense? And if the number makes sense to the buyer and the number makes sense to the seller based on what the market is doing right now, then you'll put a sale together. But if the seller needs, this, and all the other units similar are selling here, they're going to get even more desperate because the buyers, they're just not going to pay that price. So, a lot more desperate people. And as the year goes on, as we head into more of the spring market and more listings come on, this situation, I think, is just going to magnify and get a little bit worse. More people getting a little bit more desperate. If you think this video can help somebody please pass it along. If you get value from what we're talking about, subscribe. And if you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. There's a link below. The link's in the description. It's below this video. It's a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Now, let's get into the numbers. Folks, this here is the view from our latest condo listing. At the end of this video, there'll be a link here to check out the full video. Here we go. We're going to be focused on condo apartment prices only, prices and sales volumes and activity. And we're going to be breaking it down by City of Toronto, York region, and Peel region. These are average sold prices for 3 months. The difference between the low and the high, so Peel and Toronto, it's only $121,000 difference. Now I say only, I know $121,000 is a lot of money, but the spread has been often at many times during the past year, much higher. So $121,000 difference between the average sold prices in Peel versus the average sold prices in Toronto. We're going to start off with the City of Toronto for week ending January 22nd. 124 condo apartments were sold. 13 of those were at $1 million or more. Sales are increasing so far, which is what we expect at this time of the year. As we come out of the holiday season and we head more, it's still pretty cold, but as we head into the spring market, we expect sales to be increasing. That's what we saw last year. That's what we're seeing this year. Average sold price is $677,000. If we draw a line across, 677 is one of the lowest average sold prices we've seen throughout all of last year. Compared to last year, 677 is 2% lower than where we were this time a year ago. The median price of 632 it's lower, but it rounds off to a 0% change versus the median price last year. 18%, so not that many, 22 of the 124 that sold at list price or more. Listings came down. In most areas we're seeing listings going up, but listings did come down from the previous week. Or let me not say, actually, it's a little bit weird. In a lot of areas we've seen actually listings come down, but we would have expected listings to be increasing, as we also saw this time a year ago. But listings did come down, but active listings is increasing right now. And months of inventory did come down, but it's still way up there at 7.5 months of inventory. For most of the end of October, November, we were sitting between 5.5 to 6 months of inventory, and then it started to increase as we went into December. So right now we're sitting at 7.5. That's for the whole city. If we break Toronto down into 9 different sections, 9 different areas, well, if the whole city is at 7.5, some of the other areas I want to focus on, if we go right downtown, for example, where the lion's share of the sales get done, the lion's share of the listings, the lion's share of the active listings, well, months of inventory right downtown is sitting at 9.4 months of inventory. Midtown, 5.4. Uptown, 5.7. So Midtown and Uptown doing a little bit better. It's a little bit, just on the other side of a balanced market. Toronto as a whole is sitting in a buyer's market, but right downtown, 9.4, that's an extreme buyer's market, I would say. Here is York region. 37 condos were sold. One of those was at $1 million or more. So sales overall increasing. Average sold price is $642,000. Similar to what I did for the City of Toronto, you draw a line. Most of last year, average prices were higher than where we are currently at $642,000. $642 is 3% lower year over year. The median price of $610 is 1% lower than where we were this time a year ago. Of the 37 that sold, 7 of those, so 19%, sold at list price or more. Listings came down, although we would have expected listings to be increasing like what we saw last year. Sorry, this was 3 months ago, not last year. I said earlier on the Toronto last year. Usually we see sales go up at this time and we see listings increasing, everything kind of headed upwards. Listings came down. Let's see what happens over the next few weeks. But we've seen this in a lot of different parts of the GTA right now. But active listings is increasing, and months of inventory did come down. It's now sitting at 4.3, which is actually a bit lower than where we were pre-holiday season. Here's Peel region. 24 condo apartments were sold. One of those was at $1 million or more. 24, yeah, it's up a little bit from when we first started in January. We would expect it to go up, but it did come down a little bit from the previous week. 556,000 is the average sold price, which is lower than what we've seen most of last year. 556 is 8% lower than the same week a year ago. The median price of 580, which is higher than the average sold price, but the median price of 580 is 2% lower than the same week a year ago. 24 were sold, 3 of those, so 13% sold at list price or more. Listings came down. Active listings is increasing, and months of inventory up a little bit from the previous week. We're now at 7.2 months of inventory. That's for Peel region for condos, pretty much a buyer's market there. So when we look at it, we look at the summary of months of inventory. For City of Toronto, for Peel region, buyer's market. For York region, a bit more of a balanced market. Man, there's lots of choices when it comes to condos out there. But, I'm obviously summarizing whole regions here. Condo pricing is very much building specific. So that's where your focus should be if you're looking to sell or you're looking to buy. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day. Now check out this beautiful, beautiful condo we've got listed with the amazing view. The link is up here.